How do you raise your vibration or bring out more of who you are into the real world? And when you raise your vibration, people feel that even if you don't talk very much about what you're doing in terms of your spiritual practices, they feel that you're a calming, peaceful force, and positive people are very attracted to that vibration and other people. So how can you maintain that peaceful attitude? How can you be that respite for others who are looking for a little bit of calm and peace in their lives when we're living in a very busy, chaotic world? So first of all, I would recommend that you don't talk badly about others, except when you absolutely have to. Let's say you're in the position of being a manager at a company. Sometimes you do need to talk about performance, and if somebody's not up to standards on something, there are situations where sometimes you do need to evaluate and talk about those things. But if it's not your job to evaluate somebody else, I recommend that you refrain from evaluating or nagging anyone. And that right there will raise your vibration. Don't nag, criticize, or try to control anybody else unless it's your job to do so and that's your role. And then in that case, you can go ahead and do that when you need to. But even when you are a boss, or maybe you're a parent of a young child, it's a good idea to give people as much autonomy as possible because people really enjoy their freedom. The next tip I have to raise your vibration is to do the things that you love doing, especially when you're feeling negative. Let's say, for example, you're in a relationship with somebody and they haven't texted in a long time and you feel a little bit worried. The temptation is to just text and try to get their attention in some way, But that's actually a very, very bad idea. Instead, when you're in those moments, maybe it's a good time to go for a walk out in nature, or buy yourself flowers, or go to an art gallery, or see a movie with a female friend that you've been dying to see for a long time. Those are the sorts of things you want to do instead, especially when you're feeling negative and you're not bringing your best self. Depends on how you're feeling though. Like if it's like a very deep sense of grief that you're feeling, then maybe those outside activities are not necessarily going to make your grief magically go away. Having said that, if you're just feeling insecure because somebody hasn't texted you back, it's a good idea to do something else that's productive with your time and try not to worry about anybody else who is in your life. They're more likely to respond back to you positively that way, and you're not making the situation worse by trying to over-communicate or nag or over-explain anything to anybody. And that brings me on to point number 3 to raise your vibration. Don't explain your spiritual practices to people who are not open to hearing about them. If somebody's coming up to you in a confrontational state right away, saying that what you're teaching is a crock full of you-know-what, then basically the best thing to do is to change the subject and don't discuss it further. And not everybody has to be a carbon copy of you and has to have the exact same beliefs as you. It's okay that we're diverse as humans, but it also means that you don't want to open yourself up to the opportunity of having your reality shut down by somebody else who has a different belief system. And I think this is really good advice, especially when you're dating, is to basically keep boundaries on your spiritual life from your partner, unless you're very confident that you can open up and share that area of your life with them. But even when you have the same belief system on the surface, sometimes you have different interpretations as to what that means internally, and there still can be some conflict there. So I think it's one of those things that you can talk about. You just have to be cautious and don't go seeking approval, or don't go there trying to get another person's input because you need it. Only go there if you feel that they're really engaged and they're ready to go there. Otherwise, just leave it alone. Another tip I have to raise your vibration is to do the things that nurture your creativity. If you like to paint, then you should be painting. If you enjoy writing, you should be writing that book that you've always wanted to write. If you enjoy public speaking or being on camera, then maybe that's how you express your creativity. Whatever expression you have, you should be actively using it. If you put it aside for too long, that'll crush your creativity and it will lower your vibration. You want to always stay in the creative flow of things. Maybe that creative flow for you is building things as an engineer or a construction worker. And that's perfectly fine too. Whatever sparks your interests or your enjoyment in life, you should stay in touch with that and don't lose that side of yourself. And what if you're not sure like what really lights you up because you just have been so obligated and so responsible for such a long period of time that you've actually lost touch with what you enjoy? I recommend that you go back to your childhood and think about what you enjoyed then. Were you playing outside with your friends? Maybe you enjoy nature. Were you playing games or sports with your friends? Maybe it's time to join a league in your city in order to play that sport again. Or maybe you were really good at playing an instrument. Maybe you should start taking lessons and learning how to play music again. Whatever that is, those hobbies, those interests usually spark your creativity and help you bring yourself back to life. And that's another way that you raise your vibration. And then my next tip for raising your vibration is to never gossip behind anyone's back. That will lower your vibration. If gossip comes to you from somebody else, it's a little bit tricky, especially at work, because the group wants you to kind of get involved and be part of the group and buy into their conversation. And you don't want to offend them by appearing like you're judging them for doing this, because it's a very human thing to do. So it's a tricky line to walk where you're not engaging in the gossip, but you're also not judging them or making them feel bad for what they're doing necessarily. Because especially if you're their coworker and you're not the supervisor, it's not necessarily your job to go in there and try to fix everything. However, depending on how bad the gossip is, I mean, maybe it is a company or cultural problem that you do need to address with your supervisor. But it's best, if people are just grumbling a little bit, they're complaining, usually it's best to just let it go, kind of listen and nod your head, but you don't have to respond or engage too much and add a lot into the conversation. Another tip I have to raise your vibration is that you want to stay away from any like foods or substances that are going to lower your energy. Anything that's not natural, I think, unless it's medically prescribed by a doctor, you want to stay away from, because our natural energy and our natural sources of food give us the best nutrition, give us the best support. And while our medicine does help support us when we're in a critical illness stage, our medical system isn't really designed for us to be healthy. You see what I mean? They're always going after an illness and trying to fix an illness. They're not coming at things from this perspective of health. And the reason why is because a lot of the things that we do for our health that are healthy are very simple, natural things. It's eating foods from our garden. It's potentially eating organic from the grocery store or buying a high quality ingredient for a recipe. It's learning to cook things from scratch rather than buying processed meals. If you're taking care of your food and taking care of your body, that's also going to raise your vibration. And then that gets me to my next point to raise your vibration. You also want to look after your physical body. That means getting out to exercise, even if it's just going for a walk, or even just going over to your local sauna and lying down in your sauna. These things sound very simple, but they actually do a lot to help you move energy and to help augment your health. And so if you don't want to do anything else, if you're too physically out of shape or you've been sick for too long to do anything else other than walk or go to a sauna, and some people may not even be able to walk, but maybe they can wiggle their arms in their wheelchair or wiggle their feet. Whatever exercise looks like for you, you want to get a little bit of movement in your body every day, even if it's just a very small one and you're facing a disability. That's okay. You don't have to walk like everybody else, but you do want to try your best to move your body every day to keep yourself in good health. The next thing that I would recommend you to raise your vibration is to listen to really positive, uplifting music that remind you of good times in your life. Maybe it's that positive song you heard when you were graduating university or graduating high school. Or maybe it's that song that you heard when you felt like you could achieve something in your life and you were working hard to make something happen. Or maybe it was a song that came out when you first got married or bought your house. Whatever that milestone is, listen to the music that reminds you of your positive milestones in life. And also be open to new positive music that can uplift you now in whatever phase of your life you're in now. And that will also raise your vibration and help you build a more positive, uplifting life. I hope you enjoyed my tips on how to raise your vibration. These are all things that if you work on them, basically other people will feel more comfortable in your presence and they'll be more willing to share what's on their mind. And then you have that ability to live your purpose, show your empathy, and help other people. So I hope you all enjoyed my video about this, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. If you have any comments on what helps you raise your vibration, I would be really curious to see that below. And otherwise, if you liked my video, definitely click like and subscribe to my channel for more tips like this. And I'm looking forward to bringing you more content soon. I hope you're all having a great day and take care. Bye now.